Hello, and welcome to this session of Kronos training. Today we're going to talk about scheduling, adding and editing schedules. And we'll also review what items the schedule drives on an employee's record. So I'm going to pull up my test employee once you log in from the Manage My Department page. And I see that this employee from their time card has a 7 to 3 p.m. schedule. So we're going to go through changing this schedule, adding a summer schedule, and then reviewing the schedule on days where there's a holiday or a time off request. So what you'll want to do is pull up the standard operating procedures. The most recent version of this document can be found on the U drive. Please do always reference the most up-to-date version of this document. And we're going to go ahead and come on down to the section on scheduling, which is right here. So please follow along in the standard operating procedures. It will help you out greatly. So we can see that this employee has this schedule assigned from the time card. Now let's go into the employee's actual schedule and see what's going on here. So you'll notice when you first select or pull up an employee's schedule, it's going to have a header here that says by employee. Now essentially there are two views in the schedule editor. There is a view by employee and a view by schedule group. Now, typically, we want to apply schedule groups to employees. The only time you would want to come in and manually add schedule patterns is if an employee had a unique schedule or a unique FTE where something very specific was required. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click View and View by Schedule Group to confirm if this employee is in fact in a schedule group. And we can see now that this employee is in a schedule group. You can see the employee's name listed directly below the schedule group. What this means is that the employee is going to inherit whatever is built out into that schedule group. So, for example, you can see just by highlighting here what is built out into this schedule. Now, if I wanted to change this employee's schedule group, it's quite simple. You would right click on the employee's name. You would choose Add to Group. And then from this drop down box, we want to choose what schedule is applicable. So this employee is now going to be allowed to take a 1-hour lunch and work from 7 to 4. It's best to make the start date be on Sunday of the week you are beginning with. The weeks in Kronos run from Sunday to Saturday, and all times totaled on Saturday. So now that I have this employee's new schedule group, I want to make sure this box is checked that says Remove Employees from Other Schedule Inheritance. This will make sure that this new group you're adding them to overrides their current existing schedule group. One thing you'll want to keep in mind, if the employee has a schedule pattern assigned and not a schedule group, this will add a double schedule to them. So they will, in fact, have two schedules applied, and we'll have to look at deleting that here. So I want to go ahead and click Apply. Click Save. And you can always come up to the refresh button here, and you can see there's a little notification that the system is working to apply the pattern. And there we are, now working 7 to 4 with a 1-hour lunch break. So if we go back to the employee's time card, we can now see the schedule in place. So it is best practice to add schedule groups to employees. This way you know the breaks and everything is already built out within it. So let's say that this employee has a very specific schedule and they may have a very unique FTE. For instance, if you have an employee that is a 0.5 FTE, technically they should be working 4 hours a day. If you have them scheduled working 3 or 4 days a week, you'll have to be very mindful of any holidays and any non-work days, such as days off during the summer, because the schedule needs to reflect their FTE, scheduled hours per day. So you would want to make sure that any of those days that are system generated, or any pay codes that are system generated, that you have the correct scheduling for this employee. This becomes particularly important with the summer schedule. So for this employee, I want to allow this person to work the summer schedule if approved. So I'm going to go ahead and add the summer schedule into this employee in advance. That way we don't have to do anything when that time comes. So I'm going to go ahead and choose an arbitrary date. This may or may not be the date the summer schedule is allowed for. But I'm going to choose this summer schedule to start on June 11th and to end the week of August 5th. So now I'm going to click apply. And it's going to bring up that date range. And so I can view this employee schedule throughout extended periods of time. And knowing that they're going to be working 410s, we want to make some updates here. So again, we're just going to add a schedule group to the employee for a specific date range. So we'll right click on the employee, choose add to group. And this time we are going to come down to the 7 to 5:30, 30-minute lunch, 410s schedule group. We're going to have that start on 6/11, and we're going to have that end, like I previously said, on August 5th. So now we're just inserting this new schedule group, and we're removing the schedule that exists for this date range. So go ahead and click apply, then save. Now we can see that this employee has a summer schedule of 410s. He will not be expected to work on Fridays during this time. Now, one thing we want to pay attention to are scheduled days off. Amounts for time off requests or non-work day pays are driven by the schedule. So we know that on Tuesday, July 4th, this is a non-work day pay. The employee's FTE is a full-time FTE, meaning they're expected to work 8 hours per day. So we would not want this employee to get a 10-hour grant of time because essentially that's more time than you budgeted for. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to click on this day, July 4th. Select edit, and you can choose to change it for 1 day. So that it equals 8 hours. And be sure you're changing this on the employees line, not on the schedule groups line. So we'll go ahead and save that. Now when this pay code populates, you will see an amount of 8 hours in purple here. It's not showing now because pay codes do not show more than 2 weeks in advance. But now that they have an 8-hour schedule on the day that they will be out, that ensures they'll get the correct amount. So just a quick review here. The most common way to add and change schedules is to apply schedule groups. This is going to be the easiest way for you to add schedules to employees who have a common schedule. If there are any schedules that are out of the norm, then you will want to follow the steps on creating a schedule pattern. Remember that the schedule does drive the amount of time off requests, and it also drives the amount of any populated pay code, such as a holiday or a non-work day pay. So you'll want to make sure that any days that the employee is automatically paid for, like time off during the summer, holidays, such as spring break, winter break, whatever it may be, that you schedule them for the correct amount of hours per day, not per week, but per day. So if you had an employee that works 4 days a week instead of 5 days a week, you'll want to make sure that you change every one of those holiday days scheduled to reflect the scheduled hours per day based on their FTE. If there are any questions regarding schedule groups and schedule patterns, please feel free to email the Kronos support inbox. Again, please do reference the most recent version of the standard operating procedures. This will walk you step by step through adding and editing employee schedules. Thanks.